I will move on straight away, finally, to our last presenter here in the panel, Nikos Mylonopoulos, who is Associate Professor of Digital Business at the Alba Graduate Business School at the American College of Greece. Mr. Mylonopoulos, your reflections, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I would propose that the following question is important going forward. After the pandemic, will the gap between the digital leaders and the laggards be the same, smaller, or larger? Now, assuming that the digital learning curve has exponential shape, then given the same amount of effort, those companies that were ahead on the curve will make greater leaps forward than those lagging behind. Therefore, other things being equal, it is reasonable to expect that the gap between digital leaders and laggards will be greater than it was before the pandemic. Now, there is a silver lining to this pessimistic prediction. It is the fact that the pandemic has shattered the last remaining bastions of denial or resistance. Nobody can any longer say that digital disruption does not concern us, or that digital transformation cannot be implemented here. Having said that, not all businesses are having the same experience during the pandemic. Specifically, we can classify industries according to two factors. First, the opportunity offered by digital technologies to react and rebound to the problems of the pandemic, right? And second, according to the external pressure to transform. For example, both the hospitality and retail sectors face enormous stress as a result of the lockdowns. But digital technologies offer greater opportunity for the retail sector to react and rebound. Now, going forward, the next challenge is to avoid complacency and to sustain the commitment to building digital capabilities. This will require reimagining the operating models and the business models for agility and competitiveness after the pandemic. One hypothesis is that those sectors facing the greatest stress during the pandemic and they survive to fight another day, they will have the greatest incentives to experiment with new ideas, new innovations. For example, whereas live entertainment has halted completely, some venues and some artists are trying live formats online, and they are experimenting with extended reality and various forms of audience interaction. In contrast, the education sector is facing less urgent pressure to transform its models of teaching, learning, and certification. Therefore, for the most part, it has adapted in a more incremental fashion. To give some more examples, in general, service sectors with extensive physical infrastructure, such as entertainment or higher education, they may have to find ways to repurpose some of their physical assets while investing more on digital service models. Yet other sectors, service sectors, such as hospitality and logistics, they will probably have to revisit their place in the value chain and develop explicit ecosystem strategies, potentially seeking to become platforms themselves, even if that's at a local level. Sectors such as manufacturing or agriculture, they're finding that an increasing proportion of the value proposition, the value added they provide to their customers, will not be in the physical product per se, but in complementary software, data, and content. And perhaps the most well-known example today is in car manufacturing. Furthermore, the companies that are digital leaders rely for their operation on end-to-end automation and data-driven decision-making, including machine learning. In this way, they're able to achieve levels of productivity and strategic agility that are completely unfathomable for traditional businesses. This means that even though the end of the pandemic will bring an end to this visceral sense of urgency to take action and do something, the risk of inaction will be far greater, partly because the competition will be more fierce, because the leaders will be further ahead than the laggards, and also partly because the end of the pandemic will gradually bring an end to government support. Finally, businesses hopefully realize that investing in digital skills and capabilities is a necessary but not sufficient condition for digital transformation. They also need new leadership capabilities and a different model of governance if they are to exploit the potential of technology for sustained advantage and agility. Thank you.